5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy Goo Year!
Go.
Yes.
What did you decide to dedicate yourself and dedicate yourself to or for in 2025?
I've debated going back to being the old me. You know how I
Oh,
used to be a piece of shit?
right.
Let's revert back.
I think you gotta wait till you're 40 for that. No,
Possibly. I'm gonna focus a little more on like really fucking chiseling myself out, you
love
know?
that. Love that for
Yeah.
you.
How about you?
Uh, Only real thing I'm gonna be concentrating on is my counter. See if we can up the C bombs this year. It was pointed out by a couple listeners, so I suppose I haven't been using the word enough. So there you go.
I'm gonna
There's
bleep
two of
out
them.
that second one. You're only allowed to get one on each episode. Yeah, I think I would like
Oh,
to what?
yeah. Warning to anyone in a vehicle with young children.
Yeah, I would like to improve. That's it.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
improve.
I think we're all trying to improve always. Like I'm on board with that.
Outside of the home life, I feel like I've been in just a holding pattern for roughly
Sure.
5 or 6 years. That
Sure.
has to do with
Okay.
work,
Yeah.
working out, and this.
Yeah. I'm not gonna dedicate myself because I'm gonna be
No.
realistic with myself. I'm gonna get in better shape.
I'm
I've
gonna be
lost some weight
realistic.
recently. I'm gonna get some better shape.
2025,
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm gonna get
Goo
shredded.
K25. I just wanna be realistic.
To your point, 2024 was a big year for me. Like some life altering things,
Yeah,
work, got promoted, yada yada. Like
nice.
so
Congratulations.
there was, read books for the first time in
Yeah.
ages. So that was a big stepping stone for me. And now maybe I'll better my body.
And when I say that I would like to improve upon, like, say this, I mean, we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna do the exact amount that we have time for
Yeah, love that.
because this takes a lot of time. If you
Yeah,
wanna improve and keep on going further, it takes a lot of time, a lot of
sure
effort.
does.
My
Yeah.
wife mentioned to me, maybe I should start one of those YouTube channels where it's just one of those 10-minute videos of a movie breakdown or 12 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm like, those take hours upon hours to make
Yeah, like so the people that are doing that on
and
TikTok,
that are doing it well,
on
by the way.
YouTube or and
Yeah.
are doing it well and making money or getting views, video editing takes a long time. 2 minutes takes a long time, as
Like, the
Goo
people
knows.
need to understand that the reason why I don't do a ton of clips anymore is to just do 45 seconds or a minute. First off, I need to think that it's actually worthy of posting.
Sure.
Second, it takes me hours upon hours upon hours just to get that 45 seconds tight.
To be fair, though, you are a bit of a perfectionist, so it probably could be less.
I can't post garbage. I don't wanna waste people's time,
Yeah, well, that's
and
kinda what
that's
we
what
do
we're
here.
doing here.
Yeah.
One goo, three, yeah! Goo. Jaws 3. Goo. King of Queens. Goo. Meryl Streep. Goo. Entertainment.
I'm Goo,
And I am Mac.
and we are the Mac and Goo program. We bring you friendship.
Yeah, and amongst this group of friends, the two of us, we're gonna talk about Mac and Goo's most anticipated 2025 movies, and we're gonna be doing it in the style of top 10s. I don't know
But
if you
before
guys have ever heard
that,
of
Mac,
this.
should
What's
we
that?
recap our top 10 from 2024?
Do you have them?
I do have them, and if you wanna listen tight, I have the video of us counting down last year, and we can just say after if it's a hit or miss, if we were right, we were wrong, if we were duped. Are you ready?
Okay, look at you.
What started as our top 10 list of the most anticipated movies of 2024 has turned into a dirty dozen. Top 12. Not my fault. Blame the math. We have a three-way tie at 10 between Joker, Folly at Do, If, and Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. At number 9 is Polaris 8, Death of a Unicorn, tied at 6. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Ballerina. At 5 is The Fall Guy. Let's Go to the Mount Rushmore. Four Faces on a Rock. Argyle at 4. Coming in at number 3 is Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2. 2 is Mickey 17, even though it's off the schedule. And at number 1 is Deadpool 3. So, first things first. There's roughly 4 or 5 movies that did not come out.
Yes. Yep. That's the first thing you'll notice for sure.
Also, what the fuck's Polaris?
I believe
Is that a Joaquin Phoenix movie? Or it was
that.
supposed to be a Joaquin Phoenix
Yeah, I
movie?
don't remember if the title got changed or what happened. I don't remember a thing about that. I'm sure it was on your list and not mine. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. Could have been the opposite of that.
And then we clearly got duped on Joker Folie à Deux and on Argyle.
Yeah, and we were probably too low on Furiosa. You know what? I said this to you when I saw Furiosa, and you had mentioned to me that I probably would like Hemsworth. I think one of the best performances of the year. But I'm now seeing it at the top of a lot of year-end lists, and no one saw that movie in the theaters. It's kind of a bummer.
It is. And I would also say that 2024, and we'll get further into this, we're going to do the Cinemac and Goovy Awards by the end of this month. We'll do our Mac and Goovy Vaults next month. It was a weird year where the things that truly stand out aren't necessarily great, but they just stick with you.
Yeah, to me, 2024 will be remembered for Dune Part 2,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of really good movies, maybe not great. Like, to me, there's a pretty good gap between Dune and everything else, and
Yeah.
then that second tier, there's probably a pretty good gap between that and the tier below it. It's not a top-heavy year. There were a lot of good movies this year, but nothing that you're really gonna like. The Substance is
I
memorable,
was
but
like, I think I might, out of all the movies, remember The Substance the most, but I'm not saying it's the best movie of the year.
yeah, and again, I still have to see Anora, Sing Sing,
Yeah,
and
same.
Nosferatu, so that might change. I might change my tone there. But leading into these awards shows, it does seem like a light year overall.
So, Max, shall we get into our top 10 most anticipated movies of 2025?
Let's do it.
All right, starting at number 10, we have a tie. But wait a second, is this a tie for 9 or a tie for 10?
This is a tie for 10.
Okay, so we have at number 10, this is a tie once again, Lilo and Stitch, the live action movie. We both had it at number 11 on our list. Should we explain the math or do we even care?
Yeah, just a quick refresher for those at home and maybe those that are tuning in for the first time. Essentially, Goo made a list of 15. Not essentially, this is actually what we did. Goo made a list of 15. I made a list of 15. And then we crossed those over. Say I had a movie 5, it gets a 5. Say if Goo had it 3, it gets a 3. That makes 8. The lower the number, the higher it is on our list. So that's what you're seeing here.
Like I said, we both had it at 11, and I don't have an attachment to the animated movie. Lilo or Stitch. I'm sorry, Stitch looks awesome in this, and I think this might be some good old-fashioned fun.
Yeah, this is a movie that probably is pretty underrated when you're talking about, animated classics from our childhood.
Yeah.
Really, really good movie. And from what we've seen so far of Stitch, he looks awesome. We don't have an ugly Sonic situation on our hands. So if the animation is awesome
Mhm.
and if they just pretty much go shot for shot for the most part, this is probably going to be really good.
Tied at number 10. This is also kind of weird right here because Mac is bigger on this franchise than I am, but he had it at 13. I had it at 9, and that is Mission: Impossible Dash: The Final Reckoning. Mac, why are you so low on this?
Little fatigued. Of course, this was going to be a two-parter, and it still technically is, but they retitled it both. Don't get me wrong. I am looking forward to this movie. It was 13th. I'm just not as jazzed as I've been for the last few. And I think the last movie didn't disappoint me, but I don't think it quite reached the highs
It
of
had
the
some
prior 3
sweet
movies.
action, though.
It
Had
did.
that train scene.
It was very long. I am looking forward to see how they wrap this up, but I'm also sort of looking forward to seeing it just end entirely. At a certain point, we can't have so
It's
many.
not going to
impossible
end. It's just that
missions.
Tom Cruise isn't going to be there. It's going to be
That's
Glenn
fine
Powell.
too. That's fine.
Hey, Mac, what's at number 8?
Goo coming in at number 8, a tie. How
I'm
about
sorry,
that?
this
2
should have been
ties.
number 9, but yeah, it's 8 because
Yeah,
it's 2
it's
of them.
8-9 tied at 8th.
Yeah.
Captain America: Brave New World. This is coming out very soon, Goo. 6 weeks away.
Very sexy day of Valentine's Day.
We both had it 10th on our lists.
I'm not that excited about it. Like,
Yeah,
I'm excited because it's the next Marvel movie.
right,
But
right.
I'm not like, I'm not at the edge of my seat, like, I need to see this movie right now. When it's out, I'll go and see it, but there's other Marvel movies I wanna see more. There's other comic book movies that I really wanna see more. Other action movies I wanna see more.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm sort of feeling the same way as you. However, I think I'm gonna have a pretty high expectation for this movie. Like,
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to both be very good and very important in the MCU.
Costs more
So
than $300
I
million
I
dollars.
wonder if that's maybe why
Yeah.
I'm not super excited, because if it's not very good and it is important, that's gonna be a bummer. So maybe I'm
And
tempering it there.
while we know that Chris Evans is not gonna be playing, or we're not sure about this, but we assume he's not gonna be playing a Steve Rogers Captain America when he comes back, that still kinda takes away from this movie as well, right?
No, I'm not gonna say I'm over Steve Rogers, but I'm ready to move on from
No, but
Steve
he's back in
Rogers,
the
you know?
world, though,
Yeah, I
and
know,
he's
I
not
get that.
involved in this
Oh,
movie, unless he
okay, I
is.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna hamper it a little bit, but
Hamper
I'm
Lindholm.
looking forward to Sam Wilson in his first full feature film as Captain America, so that should be good.
What else is tied with 8?
Goo!
Yeah.
Tied at 8 is a movie that you did not have on your list. In fact, this is the only movie on our list that we didn't both have. So this is a unique one here. I had it 4th. Goo didn't rank it. Wicked for Good, the sequel to 2024's Wicked that has blown up and is still doing numbers in the theater.
Mhm.
Goo, I wouldn't say that you didn't like this movie, but you didn't really find anything
It's just
redeeming
not
about
my
it.
style. It's not in my Q
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, Unfortunately for me, and I did talk about this a few weeks ago when I was talking about how much I liked the movie, I have, like, done a bad job at avoiding spoilers and looking up stuff, so I kinda know the story now that bridges between the
Well,
first
yeah, so
movie and Wizard of
Dorothy's
Oz.
gonna meet up with a scarecrow, a tin man, and a lion, and they're gonna go and see Jeff Goldblum.
But now that I know, and now that I've seen the line drawn between certain characters, it's kinda just getting me more interested in the story. I have heard, however, that the 2 best songs from this musical do take place in that first act, in that first movie.
Mm.
But I also read that they're doing a couple original songs, 1 or 2 for the second part, and Arrivo and Grande were unbelievable in the first movie. Magical, dare I say.
Ooh.
And I'm just I was enthralled by that movie, and it's not even in my top 3 on the year, but I really enjoyed that movie. I'm probably gonna watch it again soon. It's on home release now.
Let's move on to number 7, A Stairway to 7, and this is Sinners, coming out on March 7th. I had it at 8, you had it at 8. This is the Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan vampire movie, little supernatural southern horror.
Yeah, so this team, right? Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther, hit. It seems like these 2 can do no wrong at this
Mhm.
point. Premise is 2 brothers return to their hometown in the Jim Crow era South, seeking a fresh start, only to find out that an even greater evil, including the Ku Klux Klan, has taken root. Michael B. Jordan is playing 2 characters in this. I think he's playing the 2 brothers.
Double the
Uh,
fun, just like Double Mint Gum.
So that could be intriguing. It could end up being a bad thing, but we love Michael B. Jordan. We love Ryan Coogler, so I'm looking forward to this. Comes out March 7th.
Yeah, and we've gotten a trailer for it so far, and they don't even tease the vampire at all.
Yeah, and in fact, Goo, this is interesting to talk about, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes. This got bumped up from its original April 18th release date to March 7th, which tells you a couple things. Obviously, they're confident in this movie, but it's kind of a detriment with the other one that we'll get to.
I wonder what that is. Mac, let's move on to number 6. This might have been your turn. I might have just skipped it. I don't
Nope,
care.
this is you.
Goose Juicy 6-pack. I have this at number 2 for the action alone, and that is F1. This is the Brad Pitt / what is the director's name?
Joseph
It is
Kosinski from Top Gun
Kaczynski. Yeah,
Maverick.
he is from Top Gun Maverick, and the trailer that we have seen so far has some amazing shots on how they're going to show the racing. And really what made Top Gun Maverick so good, it's not the characters, it's not the story. It's the way they show the action and how fun it is. And that is what this movie's going to be.
Yeah, I had an 8th. I had Sinners 9th, actually. I think you misspoke there. You had
I
this
don't care.
second, so you're clearly looking forward to this.
I am.
This is the movie on the list that we can probably confidently say is gonna be good. Like,
Yeah.
0% chance this movie is gonna be bad. However, on the flip side, I also don't really see an avenue to it getting to 40 hot dogs for me. So I think that's why I'm a little tempered on it. Like, I know I'm going to like this movie. I know it's going to be really good. It's probably not going to be in my top 2 or 3 of the year.
I'm honestly going into it expecting 36 out of 40 hot dogs.
36 is what I'm thinking in my
Right?
head. Yeah. And I think that's what I gave Maverick.
That's greatness.
It's very, very good.
Yeah. Like, I love Brad Pitt. I love Javier Bardem. And the trailer, like, this movie is so expensive, and the trailer really makes it look like it's that expensive.
I
Like,
think
you
it's
see
got the
where all the
highest
films
floor.
are at. Yeah.
Highest floor of any movie coming out in 2025.
I cannot wait for this one. And like I said, this is coming out in June. So hot summer movie.
Still you.
Me again? Holy
Yeah.
shit, Mac.
It's just
At
the way I
number
organized
5, the Marvel movie that I am more looking forward to, and that is Thunderbolts Asterisk, and that is coming out on May 2nd. This looks like more of a Yelena story, but you're getting all of those quirky team, bunch of assholes banding together to finish a mission. And the trailers that we've seen so far, lots of Bucky, and Bucky acting badass.
Yeah, you had this 4th. I had it 5th. Truth be told, my 3 through 6 are pretty interchangeable. It's just sort of how things fell.
I was going to say, last year I had a real number 1, I had a real number 2, and then, kind of bundled up after that. This year, my top 6, I couldn't decide which one I wanted the most. And I'm not sure if it's just that I like all these the same, or I'm just not as bully on any one movie this year as opposed to last year.
That's fair. A pretty clear top 2 for me, and then the next 4 kind of the same range. Thunderbolts looks like it's going to be a blast, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, good team dynamics. The characters we're going to see really haven't gotten their due justice yet, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I think this is sneaky going to be very meaningful as well. I think the whole slate of 2025 for Marvel is going to be really meaningful. So that is built in some fun and some anticipation as well. But everything we've seen from Thunderbolts thus far makes it look like a blast.
David Harbour looks awesome. Wyatt Russell looks awesome. I love what Ghost can do. And then I assume that they're going to fix Taskmaster from what we saw.
I don't know. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. In my mind, the way I'm picturing the outset of the movie is Taskmaster's already working for Valentina, and then
Mama Fettuccine.
Yeah. And then that's maybe how things play out from the beginning. Goo, coming in at number 3, we got a tie.
Hell yeah.
3rd and 4th, actually. Death of a Unicorn.
It was on our list last year.
Yeah, still a TBD. Just got a spring-ish release date, so look for this maybe April, May. I had this 3rd. Goo had it 5th. This is really simple. We did get a trailer maybe 3 weeks ago. But without even seeing the trailer, here's the pitch. It's an A24 dark comedy starring Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Like, that alone, that's why it ranked so high for us last year. That's why it's up there again for us this year. And then the trailer that we saw already makes it look weird and bizarre, and I think really going to play to those 2 characters' strengths.
Well, you know what you're going to get out of Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
He's going to give you that same consistent effort. What I saw in the trailer, though, is that Will Poulter looked hilarious.
Yeah, he's generally hilarious every time you see him, so that helps things as well. Goo also tied with Death of a Unicorn. Did you have something?
No, I'm like, I agree with you completely on all of it. I crave comedies, and while this doesn't look like a straight comedy, little dark, A24, well-written, well-shot.
Yeah.
Bring enough laughs, but this might be the funniest movie on our list / maybe the only comedy. Thunderbolts Asterisk might be more of like a comedy too, but
and
not a lot of comedies.
Yeah, and it does look like it's going to be pretty satirical and have something to say about, in general, there's going to be a mega wealthy pharmaceutical
A unicorn
CEO.
can cure cancer, and then the mama unicorn's looking for the baby. And so stabbing people. Yeah.
Tied with Death of a Unicorn. Fantastic Four First Steps. This is coming July 18th. This is my second most anticipated movie of 2025. You had it 6th, but again, I think in that range you were talking about there.
Right, but also I'm not like, this is supposed to be a landmark movie for Marvel. This is supposed to be the big tentpole movie of the year for them. And maybe I need to see a trailer. Maybe I need to see these actors interact on screen. But as of right now, just from the trend of Marvel movies that we've gotten, and I've, for the most part, liked what we've gotten. I haven't really loved anything outside of like one or two movies, but the track record leading up to this doesn't have me super excited.
I hear what you're saying on that, but because Marvel recognizes all of those things, hopefully,
Mhm.
they've had their best working on this movie for 3 years now. The cast is A plus. They have to get this
I
one right.
need to see them
They
together,
have to
though.
get it
I
right,
need
you
to
know?
see a trailer to get really excited. Also, we're still playing in like, is this a part of the same multiverse? Is this a part of the same timeline? How are they going to intertwine? And maybe that is a part of the intrigue that makes it better. I don't know, but like how are they going to do that?
Yeah, well, that's a big part of launching into the next version of the MCU, which is why I'm really looking forward to it. Because I feel like, and they might fuck it up. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but I feel like they have to get this right. And if they do, it's going to be awesome because we're going to be launched into this new realm with Fantastic Four on the horizon, X-Men, and a new era of the MCU that we've kind of been craving. And so
The
we
Hunter,
haven't we haven't leapt there yet, and there has been launchpad opportunities, and
McQuack.
they've attempted a couple things. And so I'm really looking forward to this. And again, the cast is A plus. Like everything we've seen, the stills and the promo stuff looks really cool. I like the idea of it that it's like set in the 60s, but a Jetsons type of 60s, like a futuristic, behind. I just everything we get, like each and everything they release as we lead up to this, I have really enjoyed.
I think I just need to see all the characters on the screen together interacting. I need to see my Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I think his age is a little concerning to me too. Of is he going to be the guy that we stick with throughout all of these Fantastic Four movies?
Yeah, and to your point about seeing them, we're either going to get this trailer before Brave New World or during the Super Bowl, I'm guessing,
Well, we're definitely going to get at least a trailer during the Super Bowl. Would that be its
which
first
is
trailer though?
yeah, that would be 5 days before Brave New World.
Okay, yeah, that's when we're getting it then.
Yeah, so that's pretty close.
Let's move on to number 2, and it's the same spot that we had it last year, and that is Mickey 17, the Bong Joon-ho directed movie starring Robert Pattinson. And the reason why I might not have it number 1, actually, I did have it number 1. I think I have gone back and forth on being very excited about this, souring a little bit at the delay, but then getting right back into being excited because it was supposed to come out last year. It was then pushed to a January release, which is genuinely when they put out, I'm not genuine, when this is generally when they put out shit, when they put out stuff that they don't care about, unless it's like an Oscar. Well, no, Oscar movies are technically released November, December, and then you see them in January. But then when they pushed it back again, you said, oh no, they're pushing it back again. No. Sony realized, and I believe it's Sony, they realized that they made a mistake and they're putting it back into a good release date, and that is April 18th.
So yes and no. It got bumped to January, and last year I think we both had it like third or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like a late breaking entry last year. So we've been looking forward to this movie for over a year now. It got bumped to January, and then it got bumped to March 7th, the Sinners date. And
Oh,
then
that's right.
Sinners and this swapped just like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I'm a little afraid this movie's
not.
actually not good. It just that's now the third time it got bumped, and I don't know, like it would have had all of March to itself if they wanted it to make a lot of money. And so moving it to April is a little weird because it's bumping right up against the blockbusters in May. So I'm a little afraid here. I did have it 6, so still looking forward to it,
Mhm.
hopeful for it. I'm a little afraid they're gonna bury it there because after May hits and we get the blockbusters, no one's gonna think about this movie.
So Mickey is an expendable, disposable employee who, after being killed roughly 10 times, starts to hold on to his memories. He's able to go to a planet. If he dies, they just make a new one. I believe is he on 17 or do we eventually get to 17 by the end of the movie?
No, we'll be like on 17 pretty close to the beginning of the movie. So I think
Okay.
in the book it's 27, I want to say. So
Mhm.
it's a little bit quicker here for the movie.
Okay, but yes, this is, and the trailer, go find the trailer, looks really, really fun.
Yeah, the premise of this and Bong Joon and Pattinson are why we were excited in the first place. but this has all the telltale signs of a flop. I'm hoping not. But giving it only 2 weeks to make money is very worrisome.
I'm putting my flag in the ground right now, and I'm going to be super spiteful all year about it. This is going to be the top movie on the year. You're not going to budge me. Look at my Letterboxd D next December.
Dude, you gave it 25 hot dogs. You had it number 1. Yep.
Yep,
I
number
said it's
one
gonna be
with a
number
bullet. Just like all the bullets that killed our boy Robert Pattinson in this movie.
1. Bang.
Bang.
Before we get to number 1, we have some honorable mentions, 7 total. So we ended up with 18 on our cumulative lists, which is pretty good considering we're both naming 15 movies. So a lot of crossover between you and I. So it makes it similar.
I will say this, though, is that when I went through the list of movies that are coming out next year, a lot of websites had 50 to 75, 35. And I was saying, oh, at a lot of these, at like, oh, that's kind of cool. But nothing got me like out of my seat. I got to see this now.
Yeah, I had a pretty. I didn't mind cutting to 15, I guess is what
Yeah.
I'll say. There's a lot of movies that I'm somewhat intrigued by, but maybe not looking forward
I had
to.
11 that I was easily able to slide over. And
Okay.
then picking the next 4 out of, say, the 25 was a little bit difficult. But they're still pretty good.
I had a list about, I think it was 20 or 21,
Okay.
but I didn't mind chopping down the final 6. A movie called Love Hurts
Yes.
is coming out. I forget. I didn't put the release date here. This is going to be starring Ki Hoi Kwan and
Mhm.
Marshawn Lynch, and it's from the makers of Nobody, which was one of the best movies of 2022, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that. That was 15th on my list, wasn't on yours, but Black Phone 2, you had it 14th. I don't know why I'm really not looking forward to this. I really liked the first movie, but I kind of just wanted it to be what it was, and now they're getting into horror movie sequels, and that's
It was a wonderful
never a
period
good-
piece, and that mask is iconic.
yeah. I'll give you those 2 things.
And then
Happy
Ethan,
Gilmore.
It's Ethan
Happy
Hawke.
Gilmore 2. I had this 14th out of sheer curiosity. I have low expectations. I just need to see it. I need to figure out how this is going to be.
I'm not in on this, man.
I don't think it's going to be very good, but I am anticipating it, so it's on the list.
Adam Sandler shows up day 1, and they're like, "Hey, man, thought you were gonna shave for this movie." No,
How you
I'm
feel
gonna-
about this movie is how I feel
Never
about this.
mind.
Freakier Friday, you had it 13th.
Okay, so I have said in the past on this podcast that the Christmas movie that Lindsay Lohan made when she first got back into acting, atrocious. She was not good in it, and there were some laugh out loud scenes. The one that we got this past year, you can tell that she has been buffing out her chops,
Ooh,
and I think that she is ready for this type of comedy again.
for the Lohanaissance.
Yeah, we're in the Lohanaissance.
Okay. Another one you had this 12th is the untitled Trey Parker, Matt Stone project, which also is featuring Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, it's a Kendrick Lamar, South Park guys musical that is coming out on July 4th.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Kendrick guy,
Neither
and
am
I
I.
haven't loved South Park in a while, so I get the hype for this
Those
one.
guys make banger
It's just-
movies, and they
it's just
also have
not-
one of the best
not up there
musicals
for
of
me.
all time.
It could be really good. Could be. I'm just not really looking
I'm in.
forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, one we both had on our list, but lower, is Frankenstein. This is going to be Guillermo del Toro directing, Oscar Isaac as the Doctor,
Yeah.
Jacob Elordi as the monster. Also will be starring Mia Goth, Ralph Ineson, and Christoph Waltz. So this could be really fucking good. But
This one
admittedly,
might end up being a 40 dog movie.
yes, absolutely. Probably maybe should have been in our top 10. 11.
I'm not going to
But
lie, like listening, like we're talking about it right now.
Yeah.
This should probably be in our top 6.
I think we both had it like 12th or something like that, or 13th or 11th, something in that range.
Yeah.
And reportedly Del Toro is combining some of the elements of the original story with The Bride of Frankenstein. I will admit though, I don't know if I've ever disliked a Del Toro movie. He has missed the mark for me a couple of times. Sometimes it's just a little like Shape of Water, too weird for me. Didn't dig it. So when we're getting into Frankenstein, you know, there's a possibility of that type
Do
of
you
shit.
think that the Maggie Gyllenhaal Frankenstein is going to sour some people on this?
I think that's a musical, isn't it?
Hers is a musical, and that's
Hmm.
the one where Frankenstein is punk rock and played by Christian Bale.
Yeah, I'm out on that, but I'll probably like it.
Says damaged on his forehead.
Goo, our final honorable mention here. This one just missed out. was Ballerina, a John Wick story.
I had this super high on my list.
No, you had it 9th, I think?
That's super high. That's higher than
You had
Frankenstein.
You had it 7th.
Yeah.
I didn't have it on my list. It was one of those cuts between 16 and 21. I am only looking forward to this because of Ana de Armas. I'll watch anything she's in.
I
That's
love
why.
John Wick. I'm not thrilled that they're pulling John Wick back into this universe and they're using his name in the title of the
It's too
movie.
much. It's too much.
I would have been more than happy if it's in the same universe, just with her character, with a different personality than what we've had with John Wick, a very soft-spoken gentleman, if you ask me. But she was in that No Time to Die movie where James Bond had plenty of time to die. The movie's 5.5 hours long. She's in one scene. It's the best scene of the movie. And I figure that the action-wise is going to be very similar to that.
Yeah, she's awesome. I love her. This movie's been bumped like 3 different times, so that's also playing against it as well. So we'll see.
All right, Mac, what's number 1?
Coming at number 1, I think it's obvious at this point. We just talked about it a couple dumps ago. Superman, James Gunn's Superman, coming out July 11th. This was my number 1, Goo's number 3. The more I think about this movie, the more I get excited for it, because some of what I was talking about with Fantastic Four, even more so here, I'm sort of looking for my next great shared universe, right? And I think this is really what's going to launch it. So far, Creature Commandos has been pretty good.
Oh,
but it's
Creature Commandos
animated.
featured Batman, like a nice silhouette of Batman.
Yeah,
You see
he
that?
just popped up in a
He's a big
backstory.
hulking Batman, though. Who's that gentleman from the Ministry of Warfare? Atchison? Is that his name?
I have no idea.
The fucking giant guy not named Henry Cavill
I didn't.
from the Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah, he plays Reacher in the Prime series,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
that guy.
And
Alan Richardson.
yeah, and Gunn said, well, I wasn't, shaping it after anyone. I just kind of gave that, and we can kind of lie about the silhouette, but
Yeah.
fucking big Batman.
So in my mind, this Superman movie is really what's going to launch the DCU, right? And so that has me all sorts of jazzed up.
Mhm.
The trailer was more of a teaser, right? We didn't really get too much, just clips here and there. They spiced up that original John Williams theme from the Reeves movies. We get Crypto, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Metamorpho, but it's a terrific Lex Luthor. I originally thought 2 weeks ago that Metamorpho was going to be a villain. I guess he's a good guy. He looks like a really bad guy, but apparently he's a good guy.
Judging a book
And
by
that's-
its cover, classic
That's
Mac.
part of the reason why I'm looking forward to this too, because I don't know much about a lot of these characters.
Mhm.
The expectations are different, and it does remind you of a Guardians type thing.
Oh, and
we
we saw reviews saying this is
Yeah.
Guardians level good. And I says
Yeah.
to myself, I like that level of good.
Enough said. Enough said
Yeah.
right there.
Are we being set up for massive disappointment?
No, because it's not Gunn himself saying that like he was with the Flash.
What if
movie.
Gunn went out there and took the mic? This is as good as my best movie, if not better.
I'm just really looking forward to this movie, and I think at some point when we get a real locked in trailer instead of just a teaser, I think more and more people will get excited for it. And our Superman, what's his name? Fucking Corn Sweat.
Yeah.
He looks awesome. He
He
looks
does.
buff.
Well, I mean, even when I saw him in past things, he used to be on Ryan Murphy shows. And I always said, this guy looks like a taller, thinner version of Henry Cavill.
And then you could see in Twisters he had buffed up.
Oh yeah.
He was
trying to
wearing
hide it with
shirts in Twisters, but
with a ball cap and
yeah,
a
he was like pretty
windbreaker.
buffed up in that, and you're like, that's our Superman. I
That's
forgot
our
about that.
Superman. And
Yeah.
then he gets sucked up by a tornado, just
Yeah,
like the real
unfortunately.
Superman.
No capes.
No capes. Mac, may I ask you to please give us the countdown of the top 10 most anticipated movies of 2025 from Mac and Goo?
Coming in at number 10, tied Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Another tie at 8, Captain America: Brave New World and Wicked: For Good. At 7, Sinners. 6, F1. At 5, Thunderbolts. A tie for 3, Death of a Unicorn and Fantastic Four: First Steps. Coming in at number 2, Mickey 17. And your number 1, not with a bullet. It wasn't number 1 on both, but we're both looking forward to it. James Gunn's Superman.
Right. And like I said, I'm kind of jumbled up. It could be anywhere in 1 through 6. I am excited about Superman, but I'm not as excited about that than, say, as I was about Deadpool and Wolverine last year, Mickey 17 last year, even this
Fair
year.
enough.
but I'm also not the biggest Superman guy. I think I am at the level, the
That's fair.
highest level of excitement for a Superman movie as I could be, though.
Yeah, and I'm kind of a Superman guy, so that kind of explains the difference right there. A little peek behind the curtain. The math sort of worked out into 3 tiers. Stitch, Mission Impossible, Captain America, Wicked, Sinners were all pretty close. And then F1, Thunderbolts, Death of a Unicorn, Fantastic Four, and Mickey 17, all kind of close. And then Superman was out ahead of the rest of them.
Also, this isn't a news dump. This isn't a James Gunn centric podcast, or it could be eventually. We'll just call the show Gun Control like we've always wanted to call it. But he was talking about his Batman in this universe. And the more that James Gunn talks about his universe gets me super excited of him saying, while we don't see Batman in our shows or our movies yet, his presence is felt all the time when we're like in this universe, which is all we ever want, is that if you have a Batman, if you have a Superman in a universe, in a world, everyone should always be talking about them.
Yeah, you know what? Our biggest gripe with the Penguin series is that it was like Batman didn't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you think about that, the more annoying it gets. So it's nice to hear the creator of the universe, the person that's in charge of everything, have that at the front of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to get a Batman in his universe probably for 2 or 3 more years. So that is frustrating. But the fact that other characters are aware that he's around, that'll suffice.
And they're
for a
afraid of
little
it.
bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And also, and I know it was played up more for laughs and being silly, but like that was one of the good things about Shazam, is that everyone in that universe knew about those characters and constantly talked about those characters.
Yes, as they should.
Yes. So go over to X or Instagram, or you can email us. I'll check it eventually. Want to know how many emails I have right now?
No, I don't.
How many do
anxiety.
4,368 unchecked emails.
Just mark them all as red, dude.
Dude, I'm so deep right now. I'm like, it's like I'm in quicksand. And the only way that I'm trying to
what's wrong with the world?
I'm trying to pull myself up by my neck, and I'm just getting deeper and deeper. So head over to emails and email us. I'll get to it. I'll mark it.
For some reason that made me think of the Zoom sign off back in the day.
What was that?
They used to talk about email on the show.
Oh, come on and Zoom. Come on and Zoom. Come on and Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah. Let's get into Max.
And Max, that could be anything it could be about. And like we mentioned, it is our first episode of the Goo year, Goo K25. And before we move any further into that year, let's look back at the year 2024. We put out our best of episodes. We didn't have anything to put in there, so just empty episodes. It's actually Mac and Goo, by the way. We are still on WBZ News
Come on
Radio.
And Mac, come on and Goo, come on and Mac, Mac.
We're still on WBZ News Radio every Sunday night at 9. And a running gag that I did, I don't know if anyone listens or has any fun with this, is I would say that we're going to do a best of Mac and Goo, and then I would just play Matt Shear. Let's be honest, that's really what the best of anything is.
That's what the folks want.
That's what the folks want. They want Matt
That's
Shear.
what we want.
Yeah. So that is what it is. But I would like to sit here right now, Mac, and we haven't done this yet for any of the holidays. I would like to say for 2024, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to us. Thank you for spending so much time with us. I know that you have so many options in this world of podcasting where there's 2 white guys sitting with a microphone talking about things that they don't know much about. But you picked us, and we appreciate that.
We do appreciate that. One of these days, one of us is going to die or we're going to get sick of this. But until then,
I hope it's you, honestly.
We appreciate it.
I hope it's you that dies first. But
yeah, considering the stakes you currently have in life, I hope it's me as well.
Guys, go to X right now and tell us who you hope dies first. And like I mentioned earlier, we spend a lot of time doing this. I should do more with social media and stuff, but I'm going to give you a little heads up. We're going to keep doing this until we're not having fun yet, and we're still having fun.
Yep.
Because we make no money on this.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, if and when this comes to an end and I see a movie, like, what do I do? What do I do? Just have 35 tweets about the movie?
I was thinking about it too. I'm like, I'd start paying for movies again. I'm just never going to see a movie ever again. All right. So, Mac, where can the folks find us?
They can find us on X and on Instagram at Mac and Goo Podcast. Every other program.
Program.
That's not the word.
No.
Tough start to 2025.
It's late. We're recording at 1 a.m.
Every other
early to some
platform,
people, I suppose.
we are Mac ampersand Goo, Mac Shift 7 Goo. That includes Facebook, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, iHeartRadio.
Wherever podcasts are found.
Yeah. We're on Spotify. Get on there. But more importantly, get on Apple Podcasts, rate, review, subscribe. 5 stars if you do that. We'll get you a free Mac and Goo t-shirt from the folks over at Watertown Sportswear. Watertown Sportswear on 34 Mount Auburn Street in Watertown. WatertownSportswear.com. Expert screen printing and embroidery.
tpublic.com merch. We're also on YouTube. You can watch the shows on YouTube. If you're one of those people that like to watch people talk, that's up to you. That's your prerogative. But I'll say this, smash the subscribe button, give us a like, hop in the comments section, start to talk to everyone else around here.
Yeah,
Create a
tell me
little
to fuck off.
community.
Yeah.
Be positive towards each other. If you want to be mean, you can talk about Mac.
Directed at me. Be
Yeah.
nice to each other. There you go.
And
That's
Mac's
something
not
to
going to
look
see it unless I see the comment, and then I'll let Mac know. And then Mac
Yeah,
will hop in
sure.
and tell you to lick his taint or something.
at. Like 12 hours too late.
That's usually what he does. So check us out. Next week, we're going to do 3 movies. Hopefully I can see the rest of them. And then after that, we'll eventually get to our awards.
Mm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays are goose days. I abuse kangaroos.
Bye.
Tim Burton.
Boy, and
Please flip the cassette over to side B to continue the adventure.
Now it's time for girls jumping on trampolines.